You had the wonderful experience of traveling to China and teaching conversational English in China. How many times did you go to China and what was it like?
I went to teach 6 times, and then I had 2 other trips because my visa was still in force, and I went back to visit. Um, it changed a lot because the first year I went, which was 2002, um, well, all the trips were to Guizhou province, which borders, the best way for people to understand that would be, it's a province in China that borders Tibet. So it's away from the commercial areas that would have some Western influence. Um, it was kind of interesting because, first of all, and it was a program that had been done for at least 10 years before I was part of the program. I may have been one of the first ones to go that actually had the same color hair I have now, and meaning white or gray. And so I constantly got this, like, why could I, how I could be there and how amazing it was that I could manage this, because there weren't a lot of elevators. You did a lot of steps. And they were amazed at that. And they kept saying, though, but you're 65 and my grandparents are maybe only 60 and you can do all this. But I had to remind them, their grandparents had gone through the revolution. Their grandparents had gone through the famines and all of those things. So there wasn't a good comparison to myself, who'd never had to worry about food. Some of the learning about some of the Chinese educational setup was very interesting. I had one student my first year that spoke no English, had never had an English class, but her school would be equivalent of our principal, had informed her in June that he was sending her to this program, and in the fall she would teach English, which, as you can well understand, would be impossible. Many of the teachers at that time taught English by speaking Chinese. In other words, all the teaching part would have been in Chinese. The only English part would have been out of the textbook, whatever English words, sentences, verbs, whatever, that would be out of there. Fortunately, a lot of that changed by my last trip there, because things had changed a great deal in China. I think the education was better for English teachers, and they were certainly exposed to much more in that 12 years than the first year I went. There were a lot of cultural things that were very interesting. School bathrooms that were nothing like ours. Now, they are now, but they weren't then. And if you were squeamish at all, you shouldn't go. But they chose people for this program that they knew would be flexible. But it was an astounding experience, something that will be with me always.